What's up guys, my name is Chandler Snodgrass. We're here in Kentucky at my speed shop, Chasing Speed. Started the LLC the worst time ever, 2020. Right after everything hit. No political, no nothing, but everything shut down the month right after I started the business. And I'm not open to the public. I was doing stuff for, race teams and different people that race around here and getting stuff in. So it didn't really faze me, but I definitely figured out in that first 2 years that I didn't want to just do welding for people. I ended up wanting to do chasing speed parts, like different automotive parts. So I ended up buying out another company that I started my V8 swap with in 2022, and then by June of 2023, I think I had the website up and started revamping all the parts in that kit. Ended up figuring out different communities that need stuff better. I started out in the S2000 community. A lot of those guys knew me, whether it be from V8 stuff or restoring some of the S2000 stuff, trying to figure out parts from Japan or whatever. I was well known in that community, so I gained trust with all those people. So I tried to branch off, not just LS swap S2000 stuff, but we tried to branch off and do LS swaps in any other car as well. We also do Hellcat stuff, so trying to come out with parts to make the Hellcat a little more accessible for different platforms, whether that be a tighter engine bay or wanting to put it in an old classic. So the S2000 I started out in 2014 or 15. And I was one of very few people that even bought that kit originally. It wasn't a popular swap, it was just coming on. I think they started in like 2010, something like that, when I went back on the record. So LS swaps were just getting popular in import stuff. Not mainstream like it is today, and common like anything can be. But when I started that, there was really no information. We just got the swap kit, we got a 45-page guide, and it helped a lot to get the motor in there, but fitting things around the motor, making it look like it's supposed to be in there, that's where I figured out stuff, and I helped the community. With that, I started that I think in 2014, 15, and I was going through college, doing different avenues, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Started out in culinary school, went through that program, quit about halfway through before even getting any certificates or anything. It's kind of a waste of time, but I learned a lot in that, what I wanted to do and not want to do. So ended up taking business courses. So the business and the welding really taught me what I wanted to do, because I had a great teacher in there, and he saw what I wanted to do and how I wanted to learn welding, not just for a factory job or like a construction job, which was real popular in there. I was into cars, he was into cars and stuff, so we kind of clicked with that. He was able to kind of show me other aspects of welding. You figure out your own avenue and it clicks. TIG welding, it clicked with me really easily. So I was able to do a bunch of different stuff in there and learn literally everything. So I just didn't even care about the automotive class at that point. I took that whole program, just every aspect of welding. I was like, this could all help me on building cars. The reason why I got it, I was looking at all different platforms and stuff. It ended up being my brother's favorite car. He was always into Hondas and stuff, kind of the underdog type cars, and he had a Prelude, but the S2000 came out around when he was getting his first car, and it was, an expensive first car. So by the time I was old enough to get a first car, they were still holding value, but they were definitely a lot cheaper than they are now or then. So I got a really low mileage example. It's been stock for 7 years before I even had it. I went through high school with it, went through a couple of years of college, just got really into the S2000 platform. It was my brother's favorite car. He sadly passed away in 2002 before he could ever own one or anything, so it ended up being really nice to have that maybe in a little bit of his memory, but it was also like the first car. So I did stupid mods to it. I did cheap coilovers, I did hideous wheels on it. We all go through our phases, so it happens. I learned a lot in that car. I learned how to drive a car. My first car was a manual car.
Get out of here.
McLaren, come here.
Go, 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 go.
So this is McLaren. Alright, so First car was an S2000. Reason so, it was my brother's favorite car. I was looking at all different platforms, wanting to, figure out different cars that I was interested in. I grew up in cars. All my brother's friends were into cars, so after he passed, I was still in the car scene. I was going to car meets and stuff, and 2 or 3 years before I even had a license. Out late nights, parents aren't going to be happy about that, but I was in the car scene. I loved watching local races, loved watching, local car builds and stuff. And it was around when Fast and Furious was, coming out, so car meets were wild. People were everywhere around town. You go to the mall, the car scene, everybody talks about the car scene in this town being crazy and then also being dead, but the good old days. Growing up in that, I was blessed. I saw a bunch of different builds and different characters and all that stuff. So it was really neat seeing that stuff. They were pretty stoked, but they also wanted me to learn how to drive. So being parents that lost their son in a car crash, they're definitely pretty scared about safety, we'll say. I never, knock on wood, wrecked it, but I've been rear-ended in it. I've hit deer in it. I had a girlfriend with me at the time. Scared her to death. Middle of the night, and it was a crazy time. Almost totaled that car. It needed a lot of repair. Whole front end was caved in on one side, new headlight, new fenders and everything. That was kind of a wake-up call at the same time, but showed how safe that car was. So I've been through a lot with this car and had it forever. It was kind of that car that I was always going to keep. So 2020, whatever, went through all that and was doing weld repairs and building different things for people. Build a V12 intake for a guy and a bunch of just random stuff. But I was also trying to build cars for customers. And getting your name out there, you have to, have a car out there and get a lot of track. So that's where the LS Swap S2000 came from and all that. Got a lot of traction at LS Fest 2020. So building stuff for customers kind of took off after that. A lot of people saw the quality that it went out for my first build. Helped friends on stuff and whatever, but my first full on build, it was in the Holley booth, it wasn't even hookup at that time. They came out and saw the build and they're yo, we don't have enough people out here, we want your car out here. And I was all right, cool. After that, people saw that, it helped get the brand out there.
So right now, what are you currently working on?
So we have customer builds in, and I've built customer cars for the last 4 years of chasing speed. And I've realized through that some stuff works and some stuff doesn't. So I'm figuring that out with different niches, different motors, different platforms and stuff like that. And that's where chasing speed parts came in. So we're making products for the customers that actually work. The V8 swap kits back in the day, they worked. They got you to a point, but they didn't help too much. You had limits you had to figure out, and that's where the forums came in and everything like that. So forums definitely helped. Shared a bunch of info with each other, but I figured out that these parts needed to be revamped, so that's where I revamped those parts and started making parts for other platforms to help them out as well. I've had cars built by other shops before. I've had chassis built and different things, and I've learned that I don't want to build this brand off of getting something done for somebody to get it out the door. I wanted something that I'm proud of. I'll build it to your spec, but I'm gonna have my voice in things that's not gonna fit right or do different, and customers understand that. I'm upfront with everything. I've been screwed over before. Some of these parts, they don't fit right. Yeah, so we make, V8 swap kits for the S2000. We make an alternator mount for the LS. It's a reverse style alternator mount that we, kind of figured out with the S2000 platform that would work really good in a tight, narrow engine bay. So alternator placement, different things placed everywhere is pretty critical. There's a recipe with that. We have a bunch of parts for the Hellcat platform that we're going to come out with very soon. So with the LS S2000, I figured out different things that it needs. We've had issues with steering components and stuff, so I've also made a steering rack bracket with that. So it's a manual rack or a hydraulic powered rack from Detroit Speed. We've started with the S2000, but we're figuring out parts with other vehicles. classic trucks, you know, hot rods and different things like that. There's parts everywhere that need to be improved. Everything that we have done so far is machined, designed, and built in America. With making all these parts, I make them within about 120-mile radius of me. So anything that I make, I can literally go to their shop, go to their manufacturing facility, and see that being made. I've set this up where I can design parts, I can send them out to these companies that are local to me, you know, small families, businesses that, you know, they got the machinery and all the equipment for that. So we're keeping it, you know, within a rather local area and, you know, helping the community even more. Everything's made in America, everything's designed here in America, prototyping and stuff like that with 3D printing, test products and test parts before we even hit go on the CNC. So the name Chasing Speed, the name came about, you know, it was 2020, and I ended up setting up the LLC the week after my brother's, you know, when he passed. I was thinking of names, and it just clicked one night. You know, I was out here leaving the shop. I was like, what do I want to name this, man? You know, I was like trying to keep my initials in it or keep the family name or like something, you know, like, but I was like, you know, Chasing Speed. My brother's name was Chase Snodgrass. He passed away really young at 16. My brother's name is Chase Snodgrass, and Chasing Speed is CS. You know, I can put that initials on all the parts and stuff like that. So any parts that I've sent around the world has my brother's name on it. Basically, it has his initials on it. That CS logo that you see on any car, whether it be from Japan or Australia, we've shipped parts out all over the country. Our hood hinges are real popular all over the world. That little CS logo represents my brother. So a little piece of him is all over the world.